Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And today is a first. We're going international, my friends. We're going international. We are going down to the Bahamas today for today's show. As a matter of fact, we have a very special human being on the line today. His name is Jimmy Mackey. And you talk about a behemoth of a man, of a spirit. We're going down to see Jimmy Mackey in the Bahamas. Jimmy, how are you today down there in the Bahamas?
Man, TD, I'm great, man. I'm great. It's 86 degrees outside. It's windy. Man, I'm loving it right now.
Folks, check this out. So as you're working out right now, you're walking, you're cooking, you're traveling with the kiddos. Let me spread a little bit of the gospel of what Jimmy Mackey's all about. Now, check this out, folks. Not only is he a native of the Bahamas, he's the founder and president of Macke Fit 360, an NASM certified trainer. He's the 2020 Todd Durkin International FitPro of the Year. And he's also a former pro basketball player. He's been married for 10 years, a decade, father of two, a professional photographer, a social media mogul, and he also is the founder of the Jimmy Mackey IMPACT Foundation. Guys, you have no idea what a presence this man is, and I'm so excited for you to be on the show today, Jimmy. Welcome to the Impact Show, brother.
Man, I waited years for this, TD. Years, man. I can't wait. I'm so full of energy right now. I've been, kind of living off of 4 hours of sleep every day. Just opened up a fitness center, and man, I'm pumped, ready to go, man. Bring these questions. Let's go, world.
Hey, let's not call it just a fitness center, folks. We're going to talk about it in a little bit, but it's a 17,000 square foot international strength, performance, and conditioning facility that I'm gonna right now, early on in the show, I'm gonna just state it right now, Jimmy Mackey. I want to have a mind right maniac, fire breathing dragon, Mastermind Impact meets everyone in the world retreat in the Bahamas early 2022. Are you able to host a bunch of fire breathing dragons down there in the Bahamas?
TD, guess what, man? I just got off the phone with the Bahama Resort. That's literally a 5-minute walk. Woo! It's a world-class resort, 5-star. And I'm talking big. Listen, the lady said to me, hey, whenever you're ready to have these retreats, let me know. We're going to get you the best of the best room at the best rate. Bring them all.
Wow. Folks, you heard it here first. Mark your calendars. It's going to be sometime in early 2022. We're going to be live. Yes, that's a live retreat, not a virtual retreat. No. We'll be recording podcasts. Anyone from around the world is going to be welcome to that bad boy because I can't wait to do it. Hey, Jimmy, as we record this in February of 2021, February 2020, with a mastermind retreat in Coronado, California. You were one of the 100 or so people live in the audience, and you got named on behalf of all of the votes, not just my vote, as the International Fit Pro of the Year.
Yes.
Jimmy, I remember when I called your name out, you sat in the chair and began to weep. What was that all about, man? The emotion in that room. You had a standing ovation, and you sat there and wept. Bring me back to that day. Why were you so emotional?
It kind of like just ignited a fire in me when that happened, because what happened was my wife was there. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of my teammates with me, and coming from a small country, literally a small country where, it's maybe one or two of us who get to really shine on a global stage, right? And the minute you call my name, it was like literally everything I've worked my butt off for at that moment, it came to fruition. Like my wife, I got to see it in her eyes. She was so proud. And my teammates, they were so proud of me. It was overwhelming. I felt like I literally won a championship. When I played basketball, it was like I won the national championship that day. And it just goes to prove that no matter where you are in life and where you're coming from, man, you can be a shining star.
And I'm going to talk about that in today's show, about where you came from. But before we do that, I want to start with the now, because not only do I know what you're doing because of our coaching calls and everything within the mastermind, but I see you on social media. And when I call Jimmy Mackey a social media mogul, folks, he is taking his skill set not only as a very motivational coach, but as I said, he's a professional photographer. He does a lot of video. He's fantastic on camera. But take me to the now. You had this vision over the last several years, because we've shared about it. We met way back at the Under Armour Combine 360 event. So that was about a decade ago. And it seems like it anyway. And now you just literally had your grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony here in February 2021. And it's a 17,000 plus square foot facility. You talk about strength and conditioning, mind, body, aqua, you name it.
Right.
Tell me what's going on down there now with Mac Fit 360. What are you creating?
Man, TD, listen up, man. It's so much excitement. It's so much energy. Because guess what? 17,000 square foot indoor. Another 30 plus thousand square foot outdoor. We got a huge 25-meter competition pool, TD. Like, I'm talking Olympic style. And TD, guess what, man? I ain't even told you this, man. I got like another acre. On another acre, man. I'm going big. I don't know what it is yet, but it's coming in 2022. So
That's doing the retreat center. That's going to be the retreat center.
The retreat center. It's coming in 2022. TD, you know what, man? We got cryotherapy. We got a recovery center, the recovery center, Normatec boots. We got massage therapy. I mean, we got it all. We got the in-body tester. We got, you name it, it's in here. It's in here. I have. And I took it out of your blueprint, man. I got physical therapists on board. I got massage therapists in-house, all independent. I mean, I have executives from big companies walking through the doors right now, and they're looking at me like, finally.
Yep. So Jimmy, question for you. Does the Bahamas, can the Bahamas alone substantiate Mac Fit 360, or are you really envisioning people coming from all over the globe, like traveling in and teams traveling in? What is that vision? I'm curious, like by itself, can the people from the Bahamas support that, or do you want and need visitors there as well?
You know what, TD? It actually started with Combine 360 in Bradenton, California. I mean, Florida. Yep. Right? When I saw that facility, I saw who was coming, who was going. I saw the retreats. I saw the education. That's when it all sparked. But I know I had to start small. When I met you, TD, you asked me, Jimmy, what's the name of your company? I was like, Mac Performance. It wasn't even Mac Fit 360 yet. Right? And I'm like, the 360 came from the Combine 360. But again, at the end of the day, it's like a 360 transformation.
Yep.
The Macke is basically my last name, and then the Fit, right? Man, it was like, I don't even know where to start, TD, because it all hit me so fast, starting out small. And then you said something to me, TD. You was like trading time for money. And that's when it hit me. That's when it all became like, you know what? I need to do something now. And that's when I started seeking and working and moving and upgrading and better and getting better. Because at the end of the day, I wanted to provide something for my kids and give something to them.
Yeah.
And then also being able to get away and have a vacation and do things without having to worry about where am I going to make another, client and all that stuff, man.
And you've always done an amazing job showing up, being there live, whether it is a retreat here in San Diego, a Perform Better conference in Florida, all these live events, you come, and many times you bring your family and your teammates. Just last year, you had several of your teammates come out here for the mentorship and that, always seeking to learn. Question for you, as your vision has grown from Combine 360 with Under Armour back in the day, multiple mentorships and retreats, I also know that you brought on an investor. So talk me through that. What has the investor done for you, allowed you to, as your vision has grown, what has that investor relationship done for you and your business?
Man, that's an awesome question, because again, it boils back to my vision, my culture. It's now we. It's not I anymore. It's about we. My wife, my teammates, everybody that works with us, housekeeping. And when I sat down with him, he's actually a client of 7 years.
Okay.
He was a client of mine for 7 years. Every move I made, he moved with me. Him, his wife, his kids, everybody trained with me. And we sat down one day, and he was like, "Man, hey, whenever you're ready to do something big, man, let me know. I like what you're doing. I like what you got going on."
Hmm.
So I was like, okay. I kind of sat on it for a year. I sat on it for a whole year, TD. So one day I was like, hey, you know what? You know, I want to do something. He was like, okay, tell me what you want to do. I want to open a gym. He used his connection. I used my connection. He said, whatever you need, just say it. No questions asked. You sure? Okay. All right. So I put down a checklist of stuff, equipment. I said, I need about 10,000 square feet. We found 8,000 square feet at the time. Okay, here's the invoice. Okay, let's do it. I'm like, let's do it. Whoa, what's going on now? Like, I don't know anybody who's just going to invest this type of money, like millions of dollars. Like, I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move forward. You know, we did the legal paperwork. We did everything, got everything sorted out. Mac Fit 360 still belongs to Jimmy Mackey. You have all the authority and the right to do whatever you feel, however you feel. And that's when I was like, okay, we on the same page now, right? And after that was understood, then that's when the partnership developed, and it's never an issue, never a hiccup. It was always, let's take it to the top.
Mm-hmm. Talk me through the last 9-10 months. I know in the Bahamas, like the US, North America, and many other places in the world, the fitness industry was significantly impacted, many closures. I know you were closed down for a long time as well. What did you do during this time that allowed you to keep getting better, allowed you to just literally have your ribbon cutting ceremony where I believe all of the dignitaries from the Bahamas were at? You talk about everybody, guys, that you don't understand. When I say everyone, all the dignitaries from the Bahamas were there with Jimmy Mackey because they support this man unequivocally. But take me through the time of like, oh yeah, this is great, 17,000 square foot facility. But many times you don't really see the last 9 months of really how hard it was and the closures. And you build this vision for all these people to show up, and now you can't.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me about how you got through this time.
You know what, TD, man, I think that's probably not that 9 months, 10 months was the hardest financially, time in my life. You know what I'm saying? As pertaining to me working in the gym and sleeping in the massage room, like that was different. And because it's different because I have a family to provide for, and all these things, I got bills to pay. And when everything just got shut down, again, TD, we have no government support, no financial support, no backing, no nothing, no plan. Like literally, I had not a dollar coming in, not $1. I mean, Zoom calls, everything I did on Zoom were free.
Yeah.
Just to try to keep my members engaged, people engaged. But guess what? Those Zoom calls was some of the best, because those were when I kind of really reached out to the world and networked and met so many different people. And now it's like everybody wants to come to the Bahamas because everything I did was the goodness of my heart and nothing else. I didn't want no money. People were like, yo, but I can give you this. I'm like, no. What I want you to do when everything is going right, I need you to come and visit the Bahamas, and then we can get a real workout in. And that was my plan from day one.
Wow. You mentioned something in there that I'd like for you to share with the people today. You said something about sleeping on a massage table. Take me back to the day when you started. You were sleeping in your studio. You were scraping pennies together to make it happen. And how long ago was that? And tell me about that.
All right. So I was living in Atlanta, TD. I was living in Atlanta. I had just got done playing basketball. This was kind of like when Wall Street, everything crashed, right? And
2008, 2009.
Right. I had no injuries. I was healthy. I was in like prime time. I was in the best shape of my life as an athlete. And it's just that at that moment, everything just kind of, again, like today, took a halt. Right? Sponsors were backing out on these teams. Teams were not paying you on time. Everybody frustrated. So, I moved to the US, try to find a job. Like literally, I was working a doorman. I was a doorman, TD, right? And then I was doing like
where were you a doorman?
At the Sovereign in Buckhead, Georgia, Atlanta.
Buckhead.
Yes.
I love Buckhead. I used to live I used to live not far from there, Jimmy. You didn't even know this. I went to massage therapy school right outside Buckhead back in 1995. When I was playing professional football in Europe, I had 6 months off. So one off season, I'm like, well, what am I gonna do for 6 months besides train? I went to massage therapy school right outside Buckhead. So I would many times on the weekends as a young single man end up in
Right.
Buckhead, which was a great place.
Yeah, and I would train the local homeowners, and they said to me, "Hey, do you have insurance?" At the time, I'm like, "I don't know what that is, insurance." I'm like, "I
Right.
just want to train people, right?"
Yep.
And so unfortunately at the time I wasn't even a certified trainer. I just loved training and being an athlete. So that took a halt, and working at the doorman, and then I took a job at the gym, Midtown Athletic Club,
Yep.
and I was working in housekeeping. So I had two jobs. I had two jobs, and then it was like literally I was living with my aunt, right? And my aunt, she was like about 45-minute drive in and out. So she had to pick me up in and out. I was like, hold on. This has to stop. Like, I can't be dependent on people. I gotta man up. So I used to open up and close the gym, and I told the owner, like, look, man, I don't have a place to stay right now. I need to sleep somewhere. So he's like, man, no worries. You can sleep whatever. I'm sleeping in the massage room, TD. Like, yeah, I'm sleeping like for a good month. Then I found a place like literally walking distance. I didn't have a car at the time either. It was like I just wanted to do things on my own and be independent, and that's just how I was raised. To go get it and survive, and that's what I was in survival mode in that time.
Would you say you are homeless because you didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah, I
so
was
you were
homeless.
basically homeless.
I was homeless.
Oh my gosh.
I could have tucked my tail, jump on a plane, and come home, but no, that just wasn't me. I needed to figure out my life and where I was at the time, and make something of it.
That's interesting because when you think about as a doorman and you're working in hospitality,
Right.
how even now, how that probably helps you because you
Yeah.
look back and you say, okay, well, with what you've created, hospitality
Yeah.
is everything. And now, obviously on the Bahamas, hospitality is even more so because of the travel and tourism business. But what do you think? What do you think that Jimmy Mackey today would tell Jimmy Mackey from 2008 and 9? If you could speak to that young man, 12, 13 years ago, what would you say to that young man?
Patience. Have patience. That was my biggest thing. It was kind of like when I look at the new personal trainers today. Hey, relax. Your time is going to come. Build up your clients. Be patient. It's coming. For me, it was like, oh, it's not working out, man. I got to go. I'm going. Oh, nothing's happening here. I got to go. No, I need to find something right now. I need to make some money right now. Patience was my biggest thing. And man, finding my wife, like I learned the hard way because she humbled me. I had to learn patience for real. Like she wasn't having it. So that was the biggest thing, man. My
What do you mean she
patience.
humbled you?
Because man, I mean, you know how it is, TD, when you're an athlete, man, you unstable, man, right? And it was like she wasn't having it. Like she put a rope around my neck, like you ain't going nowhere, man. Like, I'm like, okay.
It's interesting you say be patient.
Yeah.
Knowing the Jimmy Mackey today, and although I didn't know you in 2008, 2009,
Right.
I'd probably say patience. It's probably best categorized for all of our listeners, regardless of age and where you are, what stage of life you're in, is be humble, be hungry. Because be humble, be hungry, we got that from Under Armour, started that, right? Be humble, be hungry.
Right.
And the hungry part, because be humble, the patience part, the humility part, I bet you that Jimmy Mackey then was hungry for success, didn't know where and how to find it because you were hustling. You were hustling because you were walking to work. You don't have a car. You don't have a place. And you were willing to do what it took, including sleeping on a massage table or in the gym or in the studio or wherever you could find a place to hang your hat.
Right.
But you still had a vision deep down, probably saying, man, there's something inside of me that God gave me that's special. I don't know what it is yet. That's the patience part. But there was a hunger in there that you kept seeking something deeper that you knew someday was going to be special.
Facts. And this morning when I woke up, TD, I read a scripture this morning in the Bible, right? And it talked about, you know, we all have plans. We all have plans, but at the end of the day, if it's not God's plan, it won't work out. And that's when it all set in. It was like, whoa, my plan is to be an impact and share the light in my country in fitness and health and in service. And that's where I'm at today, because this is where I was supposed to be today in this day. Nowhere else but right here, right now.
That's a great lesson. Great lesson.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you talk about lessons as an athlete. You played professional basketball. What are 2 or 3 of the lessons maybe you learned from your basketball career or your athletic career that apply to you now as well?
One of the biggest ones, TD, is show up, no matter what, show up. And I always tell my staff, my employees, you got to show up. I don't care what kind of day you having. I don't care if it's storming, raining, you need to show up, and you need to show up before the game. Before the game, TD, get your butt in there an hour early, 2 hours early, 30 minutes before your shift start. Be prepared. And I kind of learned that from you too. Always put yourself in a mental state before you go on the big stage, because when you open that door, it's go time. My clients, our members, they pay our paychecks. We got to serve. We got to service them with a smile, and we got to be hungry, and it got to be coming from deep. It ain't going to be something simple. No, it's going to be something deep that when they walk back out the door, they want to turn around and come back in the door, man. That's one.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel the fire, folks. I'm feeling the fire. Keep going.
My mother, man, she used to wake me up at 3:30 in the morning to go help her clean up Tony Roma's. You remember that franchise? Tony Roma's, the ribs?
Yeah, of course.
All right, they had 2 of those franchises in the Bahamas, and we used to get up every morning to go help her clean up. Clean up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was one of the biggest things for me now, is making sure our place is clean, like spick and span. I'm not talking spring cleaning every now and then. I'm talking every day. Every day. Like,
How long did you do that for with your mom? And how old were you?
Man, that's probably about 5-6 years of my life, all my life.
How old were you?
Like probably 10 years old. 10 years old, man. A lot of people don't know I was a fisherman. Like, growing up, going on the dock, cleaning fish for tips. Riding jet skis for tourists and hustling on the beach. Yo, jet ski ride.
You were hustling.
Like, I was doing it.
You were hustling. So you learned the grit from your mom, getting up at 3:34 in the morning. So show up is number 1. Have grit would be number 2. I mean, have grit regardless of what you do and the success you want. What else from your athletic career would you say you've learned that you still to this day continue to use as part of your entrepreneurial pursuits?
Man, just go get it. Whatever it takes to win, as long as it's within good standing, go get it. Don't let nobody tell you no. Don't let nobody tell you can't have it, you can't win. Because if you do that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's all about, like you say, get your mind right. It's about the mindset. Getting that mindset right.
Yeah. I'll add one for you, because sometimes when you're doing it, you're not even aware that you're doing it, but continually learn and be addicted to excellence. Continually learn and be addicted to excellence. And the reason I say that and fill that in for you is because that's what you do, Jimmy, because when you think about continually learning, as mentioned earlier, you're always showing up. You show up in Orlando, you show up in San Diego, you show up in Colorado, you show up wherever we're having these retreats, and not just by yourself, but with your team, because you want them to learn. So as a leader, you're trying to lead them to excellence, and you're always like, how do I get better? TD, what can I do to get better? What can I do to get better? So I think that's a great lesson, because as an athlete, as you all know, preparation is the key to success, but the continual desire to be great, that continual desire to say, hey, how can I get to another level? You're probably listening to
Right.
this podcast episode right now because you're like, hey, what's another step I can make in my life or my relationships or my success or my significance? What can I do? What steps can I take? And Jimmy just said, show up, have grit, go get it. If it's yours for the taking, go get it. I'd say have vision for your life. Jimmy, you had this vision to create this mega facility that is going to be an international, iconic type place for teams and groups, organizations, and individuals to travel to. Having that vision is absolutely crucial as well for success. So, man, I love it. Take me back to you said growing up. It wasn't easy growing up, and you had a lot of difficulty. Take me back to that time, and once again, looking back at that time, what was established at a young age? You talked about your mom getting you up at 3:30 in the morning. What are some of those lessons that you learned at a young age that apply to you now?
Man, there's one of the big takeaways from growing up, man, and I can remember it to this day, is so clear, is have respect for people, have manners. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. No, thank you. Good night. How you doing today? What's it, and everywhere I went after that point, I went to college. We had to stay at, it's kind of like home away from home families. Yep. Like literally, TD, my home away from home family, they would go out on the weekend, like Saturday, and listen, they'd leave one of the cars at home, the house be dirty. When they get back, the house is spick and span clean, the car is washed, the yard is clean. That's how I operated. Like, that's what I was taught growing up.
Wait, how old were you when you were doing that?
I was like I was a freshman and fresh sophomore in college. So I was about around 2021.
Okay. So how, all you parents are going to love me for asking this question. How the heck do you teach that to a young man or woman today? That you said the host family would go away and how do you get them to clean their own home and wash their own car, let alone the host family, right? Talk to me about that, Goose.
But that was just growing up.
Yep.
My mother, she instilled in me, my stepdad at the time. TD, I didn't have running water at home, man. I had to get up at 1 a.m. if the buckets were empty to flush the toilet, go to the pump, fill the bucket up, flush the toilets, fill everything up. If the dishes were dirty, we had to clean the dishes before we go to bed.
What if you didn't? What if you didn't do any of that stuff? What would your mom or dad do?
Oh man, you're gonna get the belt. You're gonna get the belt. Like it was just one of those things where that's what it was. That's how we grew up. That's how we were raised, to have respect, to keep your face clean, to have respect for other people's property. That's just the way we was raised. It's an island, so everything is different.
I have a question for you, and I ask my athletes this all the time. So how do you now, Jimmy Mackey, teach that to your kids? Because you're not waking up at 1:30 in the morning because you're dirt poor and you just need to find some change to put food on the table. How do you teach your kids the same work ethic, the same values that you had growing up to them now with your kids?
Right. I teach them it just how it was taught to me. When I look my daughter in the eye, I tell her, look me in the eye when you speak to me. My son, look me in the eye when you speak to me. All right. When you get up, hey, make sure your bed is clean. If you want this or that on the weekend, you're going to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. I'm going to hold you accountable. Yesterday, TD, my daughter came to the gym after swimming. She basically working a 16-hour job. She went to school for about 7 o'clock and she had swimming and all that, got home about 6:37, came straight to the gym. She has a paper in her hand and a pen. She's on the gym floor asking everybody, yo, I'm selling protein cookies. I'm taking orders. She wants to be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So she's getting everything that daddy's doing. She's watching daddy. Because everything we do, these kids are like sponges, man. They just soak it up. So parents out there, if you're listening, be careful what you do in front of your kids, what you say in front of your kids, because it's going to be a representation of who you are later on down in the future.
Or parents, if you'd like to, send them down to Jimmy Mackey and his new program he's offering for parents. You send your kids to the Bahamas for 2 weeks. You go and stay at one of the fancy resorts. You send them over to Jimmy Mackey, and Jimmy Mackey will whoop them into shape. Within 2 weeks, they'll be washing your car, cleaning your homes. Jimmy, we have people signing up right now as I speak right now. They're like laughing right now. Let's do it. So Jimmy Mackey's International Resort is not just for athletes or entrepreneurs. It's for kids as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Jimmy, when you were going through this tough time, I know there's always mentors and coaches that come into your life at young ages. Was there a coach or anyone that came into your life at a unique time when you're facing some of these challenges as a young man?
You know, I could go back to, my sophomore year in college. I was in school, I was in my dorm room just chilling, and I got a phone call. And, that's when I got the phone call that, hey, man, your dad, he had an accident. You need to come home real quick because they don't know how long he's going to live. So, my coach at the time, Bill Oates, rest in peace. He actually just passed, but less than a year ago. He was really great friends with John Wooden. And the legendary John Wooden came to my practice, sat down, and evaluated my practice. Like literally, legend. Like I got the Pyramid of Success signed by John Wooden. Good luck, Jimmy, in the future. And I'm like, today, I'm like, holy cow. Every time I look at it, I'm like, wow. And so I had somebody who was there to kind of help me and guide me through that process. Because, losing your father. And then the following year, I lost my brother again in school, in my dorm room, got the phone call. Your brother, he drowned. He passed away. He was a fisherman. You know what I'm saying? So back to back, 2 years in a row, I lost my father, I lost my brother. And
how old was going through it. How old was your brother?
He's only a year older than me at the time. Well, we like a year separation. He's probably in his mid-30s when he passed.
Wow.
And so it was just, I got kicked out of college because it was just so much going on. I couldn't focus. It was like, I just wanted to get away. But I knew basketball was the one thing I loved. So I didn't, really just throw it to the side and just did crazy stuff. I never smoked. I never drank. None of that craziness, man. And but my coach, he was that guy who kept me together. If I needed help, I needed a plane ticket to go home because financially my mother couldn't afford it. And he was like, you know what, go home, whatever you need, we're here for you. And that's every coach I came across in my career, was like a father figure to me, and all of them were pretty good. So I had, a lot of guidance. Everywhere we went, it was like people wanted to just reach out and help me. And a lot of that was like, kind of like, it was like, took a lot of pressure away from me, my mom, because at the time, like I literally, when I left for college, I never called her one day and say I need some money. Because TD, you already know I'm hustling. Like I'm working. I'm like, I got the girls buying me lunch and dinner and buying me groceries in college. It's like I gotta work, man. But yeah, that's kind of like, one of those things where, God instilled in me the passion and the likeness of people to look at me and like me because it was just the respect and the smile and the joy, I brought to people.
Jimmy, where did you go to college?
I went to Langston University in Oklahoma. It's a NAIA Division I.
Okay.
And then my freshman year, after my freshman year, I transferred to the Master's College in Santa Clarita, California. Small little NAIA Division I. They played against like Azusa Pacific, Biola, that conference. Yeah. So back and forth.
So you went from living in the Bahamas to Oklahoma. That's
Oklahoma.
Shock. Wow.
Yeah, in the literally in the like sheeps and goats and all of that around me. Like I was like, what is this?
Wow.
Yeah.
And Coach Oates was a major impact in your life.
Yeah. Christian man, and great foundation to my success, as an athlete.
How old were you when your father passed?
I was about 24 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
he sure is proud of you. I know that. Let me ask you a question. Now that you are literally just launching your new facility, I know that you have a vision that goes beyond just the brick and mortar 17,000 square foot,
Right.
facility with all these acres and that. I know you've been giving back to your community and your country in ways that I don't care what your career, occupation, industry is. Jimmy Mackey certainly has a much bigger vision than just the fitness and sports training industry.
Right.
What are you doing now with your mission and your vision for your country? And what are you doing to give back? Because I know every time I'm either talking with you within a mastermind call or I see your social media, you're always out doing some philanthropic type work in your community.
Right.
Talk about that.
Right.
And why.
I was born and raised in a community called Camp Road in Nassau, Bahamas. Camp Road is kind of like compared to Compton in California.
Okay.
Right. And or the Bronx, New York, or whatever. And all my life I grew up where it was like hand me down shoes, hand me down, whatever, because financially we just couldn't afford it. And it hit me like, you know what, man, I love to help my community. I want to give back to my community, but not just my community. I want to give back to the youths of my community, because those are the future of this country and, where we at and how we can get out of that. So, giving back like trophies, uniforms, sneakers to athletes. Because again, if you don't have the gear, you won't perform. You're not going to be able to go out there and feel good about yourself and play good. So the vision is to impact, the young kids in our community, which is like Camp Road community, and then kind of like show them and host clinics and try to bring in athletes who can do these things and show these guys that exposure is the key to having a great future later on down. Yeah.
And you've recently created your own foundation as well, correct?
Yes. And that's what the foundation is all about, is just kind of going in and doing some amazing things to help, an athlete who has the ability to get to that next level, but doesn't have the guidance.
What's the name of that foundation?
It's the Jimmy Mackey IMPACT Foundation.
I love it. Impact. There it is. Impact in the island of the Bahamas. Well, yes. That is fantastic. Jimmy, I also know you love social media and you do a great job on that. I'm always, building the best for the best and seeing your brand with Mac Fit 360. What are some of the ways that you combine all of your skill sets, your gifts, your strengths between your photography, your video and obviously your actual brick and mortar? Talk about social media and how you use that to amplify your voice, brand, and message now.
Yeah. So building the best for the best. I actually got that from Larry. Larry was like, hey man, build the best for the best. And I'm like, Larry, I like that. So I kind of went with that. And so I give credit to Larry on that one. But I think a lot of the social media thing, it comes from what I see. It's like in the moment, it's like, what do somebody see when they come in the gym? And I base all of my videos and put photos and my message based on what I see. When you walk in the gym, how is the energy? When you walk in the gym, that expression somebody is given organically, like that's what people relate to. People relate to the now. And if I can find, I invested about $40,000 in camera gear and lens because I wanted to have the best picture, the best images, the best quality, because when people look at those videos, they don't know what 4K looks like, but they're going to feel like it's 8K because it just looks good. And then it makes you want to watch more. And the message is simple, man. Like everybody's caught up in, I want to lose weight and do this and do that. But at the end of the day, my message to people is, man, let's just try to live a healthier lifestyle. Amen. At the end of the day.
Amen. So what do you have like rules that you've created for yourself or something like, okay, I'm going to create one post a day or one post a week. And do you edit your own videos or do you have a team of people who help you fulfill this?
I do it all, TD.
Really?
I record, I edit. I do it all.
So but those fancy videos I see on social media, that's all you.
Yeah, I got my drone. I put my drone up if I need some aero stuff. And I got my GoPro if I'm doing underwater or action stuff. Like, I'm in it, man.
He says it like it's so natural. Folks, is anyone else laughing with me? I'm like, hey, I just put up my drone. I fly it overhead. If I'm underwater like Aquaman out in sea, I put my GoPro on. I come back, I edit it all up. I put it out within a day. That's it. And oh, by the way, I'm running a 17,000 square foot facility and It's unbelievable, incredible. So how about for anyone,
Yeah.
regards of industry, career
Right.
wise, industry wise, if someone wants to amplify their brand, what are
Right.
one or two points that you would suggest and encourage them to do if they weren't a photographer, or
Right.
they weren't a videographer, or they don't like to edit? What would be some things that you would say to them?
Hey man, I take it a TD book, man. Hire the rest. Just
Mm.
hire that person who's going to do that. But
Do what you
if
do
you
best,
don't
hire the
have the
rest.
finances, if you don't have the money to do it, hey man, invest. Like literally, find a way. YouTube University, that's my favorite. YouTube University. I learned everything about cameras on YouTube. Um, some people say go to a university. Hey, that's fine. At the end of the day, it's about finding a mentor. That's the biggest thing. Find
Mm.
a mentor. Ever since TD gave me that blueprint, like to this day, I still look at that piece of paper and I could still day to day, like, what can I do? What can I find in here that's different that nobody is doing?
Mm.
What are TD mistakes? Okay, that's his mistake. I might make my mistakes, but at the end of the day, it ain't gonna be that big mistake.
I'm not making the
Like
same
I'm
ones as
learning
Todd.
from the best. I'm learning from the best. If the best say do it this way, I'm gonna do it that way, and that's just the way it is.
Mm. Well, you're doing an amazing job at that, Jimmy, and it's smart, right? Sometimes you make investments, and
Right.
when you can learn what mistakes not to make, it can save you tens of thousands of dollars or more on that as well. Um,
Real
Jimmy,
quick, TD.
yeah,
Real quick. All right, and this is another big tip for persons who's trying to inspire to be an entrepreneur, open a gym, a parent, or whatever. Just make the decision and take the big step and move. If you make the
mm,
mistake, you figure out why you made the mistake and you do it all over again. And you repeat the process until you get it right.
yeah.
That's
I,
it.
yeah, I love that. I think what happens with most people is perfectionism often robs us of doing the
Yeah.
work because we're scared that if it's not perfect, then we're going to look funny, we're going to look foolish, and it's not going to be good. What I say is
Right.
actually you want to create imperfect material. You don't want it to
Exactly.
be perfect. So get on and do some lives once a week. Do on
Right.
Instagram stories or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or whatever your platform is. And when starting out, remember not to get so overwhelmed that I have to be on all the platforms.
Right.
Choose one or two where your avatar hangs out. So if you're an athlete, where are people hanging out? Or if you're, if you're an entrepreneur who's starting a retail shop or a business, where's your avatar, your core client hanging out, or
Right.
member that's hanging out, and then appear on that, be on that. Maybe it's LinkedIn.
Right.
Find one that works for you, and be the best that you can be, but you don't have to be perfect at it. Just keep showing up.
Yeah.
Consistency over time is going to allow you to ultimately succeed. So Jimmy, you're doing an amazing job at not just showing up, but doing it at a pace that certainly is awe-inspiring. So thank you for getting that light out
Thank
there in
you,
the world.
TD.
It's
Thank you,
obvious
man.
doing that. And the other thing I'd say is this: I like when you talk about YouTube University, is Jimmy mentioned do what you do best and hire the rest, because I do love that
Right.
saying. But I also don't believe in so much when you're like, when you're going to hire someone out, is to hire out and be completely oblivious to what they're doing. I think you should
Right.
be dangerous enough that you could do the job, but you recognize that's either not your expertise or that
Right.
you don't love to do it. Like my
Right.
soul doesn't sing when I'm editing material. So I have a team of people that will help me edit, but I want to be dangerous enough to either at least listen to what they've edited or listen to say, hey, chop out these things, whatever it may be. So
Right.
find out, what you love to do that. And then in the beginning, sometimes you do have to do everything. Ultimately, when you get more plates up in the air, you've got to certainly farm out some of the things that you don't love to do or you're not
Right.
great at as well. So take a look at Jimmy's social media. We'll get that here in a bit, because man, he is putting some light out in the universe as well. Jimmy, when you reflect now,
Mhm.
3 years from now,
Yeah.
where is Jimmy Mackey's life in 3 years from now? What does Mac Fit 360 look like? Family look like? What
Mhm.
does your life look like? Forecast out 3 years.
Yeah.
What does it look like? What's your vision?
You know what? Personally, for me, it's just, buying a new home or building a new home.
Hmm.
That's something that's big. I think my mom, she's getting at a point now where she's gonna need, her son to kind of come in and take over. Just kind of like provide for her. because that's what big boys are supposed to do, put on their big pants, right? And for Mac Fit, I mean, it's just kind of like adding to what we do best, and that's kind of serve our community. Maybe a basketball gym, indoor court, maybe a soccer field. I mean, I want this to be a destination. I want MacFit 360 to be a destination. I mean, we talk about tourism, sports tourism. Now, I'm talking fitness tourism. I'm bringing a new light to the Bahamas. I'm talking retreats. I'm talking world-class athletes coming to the Bahamas for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. TD up in here training at MacFit 360 with his top athletes. Like that's what we're talking, global domination when it comes to what we do at MacFit 360, man.
Wow. I love that. I can't wait to get down there. I cannot wait to get down there. You've mentioned a couple of times your mom and your family,
right.
And all of the trials, tribulations that you've been through and to where you're at now. How has faith played a role in your life?
That's everything I do, TD. I was born and raised, the Bahamas is considered a Christian nation. And I was born and raised with the Bible and go to church and go to, Sunday school. And that's everything we do. At the end of the day, I'm not a perfect being, but I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And that's just what it is. That's my belief system. I live by it. I die by it, and that's who I am today because of that.
Wow. Well, when you think about what you've been through and the faith that you've had to persevere, I can't think of a better rock to rely on than your faith in God. And God always provides. I said that quite a bit through the pandemic myself is, you know what? When we focus on serving and not worrying about what's in the bank account, you just focus on the vision, what God wants you to do, and you lean on those whispers and those prayers, and you listen. God always provides in some way. He always provides. And sometimes he whispers things that you don't want to hear, but you've got to be obedient to those whispers as well. And
real quick, TD, real quick, man. And I'm going to humble myself right now, man. Up to about a month ago, man, I literally went from having thousands of dollars in my bank account to $600, man. And my wife never knew. She never knew, because there was never a day I'm going to push that panic button in the front of my family and my kids. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to take them and I'm going to put everybody on my shoulder, my teammates, MacFit, this country, everywhere I go, I represent my country. But I'll never show my wife that I'm going to push that panic button and like, oh, shoot, everything is, because I believe that Jesus Christ is going to provide for me from day one. When I slept on those couches, he provided those couches in that massage table.
That's right.
Because he know I needed to rest my head and regroup to get back up the next day. Where I'm at today, man, is all about faith in God and his work and what he did for me and how he provided for me. So, and I'm going to stick to that gun every day.
Wow. Mic drop moment right there. So bring us home here. This is the Impact Show.
Yes.
You've got a foundation called the Jimmy Mackey IMPACT Foundation.
Yes, sir.
What does impact mean to you? When you think about your legacy, you're still a young man. You're doing some amazing things, not only in the Bahamas, but internationally as well. What does impact mean to you? What's your legacy going to be all about someday?
My legacy is going to be where it's like, I'm going to always be around no matter what, no matter how I go down, it's going to live forever. The name Jimmy Mackey, MacFit. My kids are my legacy. My kids, my pride and joy, my wife, everything. I'm living for them. My mother, when she smiles, when she hear my name's called on the news or in the newspaper, like my legacy is this guy has proven he's lived up to expectation and then some. He's done it. He's done it all. He's impacted the culture. He's impacted the way we do business in this country. And that's what it's going to be at the end of the day.
Wow. Well, Jimmy, I certainly am proud of you. I know your family is. I know the entire country is in the Bahamas. And I cannot wait to have a retreat. Matter of fact, I don't know if you can hear Jersey Dog in the background barking. He heard me say ready. Impact. I've actually trained him when I say impact, he barks. And he's actually barking in the background. Folks, I don't know if you can hear that or not through my equipment. But Jersey Dog is getting fired up because you're getting fired up talking about impact. And every time I say impact, he starts barking. So I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. And
thank you, DD.
such an amazing job. Jimmy, if someone wants to follow you, all of the great things you're doing down there, they want to come down and visit the Bahamas, or they're going on vacation, they want to come get a workout in, where are the best places they can find you, Jimmy?
All right, so best places. If you need a professional photographer, it's Jimmy Mackey Photography. Boom. If you're coming in, lifestyle photos, marriage, whatever you want to do in the Bahamas, you come down, you holla at me. Jimmy Mackey 1, that's my personal page. Jimmy Mackey 1. If you want to follow me, get some inspiration, hey, that's where I'm at. My company, my business, Macke Fit 360, just like that. Macke Fit 360, we are on Instagram and Facebook. Oh, and guess what, TD? I open up a car wash, man. Yo,
what?
Car wash in my parking lot at the gym. I'm going, bro. I'm hustling.
At the gym, you got the car wash.
At the gym. Yo, I'm washing Porsches, Ferraris, you name it, we got it. Let's go.
I absolutely love this conversation. Now, I'd love to know, like, if I come down there, I mean, are you training me? You're actually doing the photography and you're doing my car wash? I'm
doing all of that. Now, I'm not doing the car wash. My brother is actually doing the car wash.
You know what? I don't know what it is that's so refreshing about this, but I absolutely love the fact it's called hustling.
Yeah.
Hustling. Guys, I don't care if you're 25 listening here, 55.
Yeah,
it's all about hustling and doing things that you got to do to put a smile on people's faces. If you could see the smile on Jimmy's face right now, because most of you are listening in, if you haven't been watching the YouTube replay of this, you see a huge old smile and those teeth are smiling bright.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for what you do, Jimmy. Not just for your Bahamian people, but for everyone in the world, the light you put out, because guys, follow him on Instagram, follow him, his website, MacFit. 360.com.
Yeah, that's it.
360.com will take you to anywhere. If you need a little inspiration, if this impact show is not enough, go follow Jimmy on Instagram, on Facebook. I promise you, you're going to see the light that he's putting out, whether it's his photography, his training, his gym, his now newly declared car wash at the gym.
Hey, hold up.
Don't tell me.
360. The Wash 360. Let's go.
Man. Guys, I'll put all of that in the show notes. I'll put all of it in the show notes. Jimmy Mackey, thank you for what you do. Keep up your hustling. Stay humble and stay hungry. I love you, brother. Sir. I can't wait. Guys, I'm declaring it right now.
Right now, 2022.
Early 2022. We're going to be down there. I want to see you. You can get your photos. You can get great workouts. You can get your car washed if you want to. But most importantly, you're going to connect with some great human beings. Jimmy, thanks so much. Have an incredible day. And man, thank you for what you do, brother.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, TD, man. God bless.
Wow. Oh, wow. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I enjoyed speaking to Jimmy Mackey today. You talk about a great soul, a man whose spirit certainly permeated through the airwaves today, about the hustle and how he overcame adversity as a young man and how his athletic career got derailed, but he learned some great lessons, including being evaluated by the great late Coach John Wooden. What an amazing story. And to see what he's doing now with the vision, the grand vision that Coach Mackey has for not only the island of the Bahamas, but to create a destination resort. You talk about the humility, the hunger, and the hustle that Jimmy has. It truly is, it's iconic. It's epic. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do me a favor if you can. Make sure you take a picture right now. Snap a picture of this episode and then post on your social media, whether it be your story, your feed. Post it about the Todd Durkin Impact Show and specifically this episode and how it could provide value for you, your family, your friends, your colleagues as well. And as always, I love hearing from you. If you've got a question, if you want to share some great information or content with me, I'm all ears. Whether you DM me, you email me, make sure you hit me up. And until next time, what do you got to do? Until next time, yep, you're right. You got to train hard. You must eat right. You got to live inspired. And don't forget, go create impact, baby.